Hello! You are listening to Cali Chats, a healthy living podcast with a goal of helping you find true happiness within your mind, body, and soul. I'm Jessie Cali, and it is time to get real. Hello, friend, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Cali Chats. I know it's been forever, and thank goodness my voice is back to normal. Before we get started, I do want to quickly just apologize if any feedback is different from this episode. I am recording from my boyfriend Eric's house, and they have a slight echo literally everywhere in this house. Can you imagine? I'm just like running around with a microphone and just like going test, 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 and it's like test, 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 test. Anyway. This episode is going to mark the long-awaited final part of the 3-part series. This is 30, and I'm so excited to finally wrap it up. It's been a month. Lord, I had an entire other episode planned for this way back when it was supposed to happen. But you know what? Life happens. And I think that is the perfect way to wrap up this series. On the last episode, we talked about all the things I wish I knew back in my 20s. I talked about all the lessons I've learned and shared them in hopes of hopefully helping someone else that is either still navigating their 20s and similar life things that I went through, or maybe someone who's possibly walking into their 20s. Regardless, anything we talked about can help anyone at any age, so take a listen if you haven't already, and if you have, let's continue. So this week, we are going to talk about the future. We're going to talk about no matter what life throws at you, that you're fully capable of paving the way to your success and to a better you. We're going to start it off with an explanation of where the heck I've been, and then we're going to move on to some things I will be taking more seriously, and I encourage you all to take more seriously in your lives as well. And then we're going to finish it up with some motivations to get us all up and at 'em. As my mom always used to say, get up and at 'em. It's time to get ready. My goal is that by the end of this, you can truly feel that even if your life feels like hell right now, that you are fully capable of turning it around for the better. Because trust me, you are. All paths taken, no matter how poor the choice, can be turned around. Trust me, I can promise you that. How? How can I promise that? Because I have been there. I've been there so many times, and I've had many friends there, and I've also witnessed amazing revivals. What a fun word, revival. But seriously, each and every person on this earth is capable of a new beginning and a chance to truly thrive. Keep listening, and I promise that we will both get there. So let's talk about what's going on in my life and the inspiration behind this newly thought up episode. Well, the week I was expecting to release the final part of this series, as y'all know, I lost my voice. I ended up getting sick with a sinus infection, which was previously unknown to me at the time. I thought I had just had a cold or allergies and lost my voice. And I thought it would pass in time, but nope. 10 days later, it was still there, and I decided to go to the doctor and see what was working up in my system. They thought it was some sort of allergy situation and just gave me some things to make me comfortable, but then 10 days later again. I don't know why 10 days is like my lucky number, but 10 days later, I was still sick. So we're talking like late August at this point, and I went back to the doctor. They realized that they had previously misdiagnosed me and that I had a sinus infection then. And now that sinus infection had evolved into an ear infection. And I joke you not, the doctor says, uh-oh, yeah, your ears are real pissed off. Seriously, that's what she said. Let me tell you, she was not wrong about that. So long story short, I am very sorry that I had to delay the release of this episode due to being under the weather. Trust me, I was very unhappy about it. But we are here, I am ready, And we are back in business, baby. I took my antibiotics and now I feel like $1,000,000. So let's get started. But also, like, low-key, not to scare anyone, but 30 hits different, okay? I wasn't 30 for longer than a week, and I got sicker than I had in like 5 to 10 years of my life. It literally took me the entirety of August to get better. Lord Jesus, take the wheel, okay? If this first month has taught me anything, it's taught me to take my health seriously. Mentally, physically, socially, environmentally, and spiritually. Each and every one of those types of health is important. Heck, the whole point of this podcast is to be a healthy living podcast. Everyone always asks me, what is that? Well, this is a podcast where I can hopefully help you maintain alignment and happiness within your mind, body, and soul the same way that I'm trying to. And what helps us get there? What is the magical key? Good health. We'll move more deeply into that topic soon, but first I want to continue to update you on the craziness that is my life. Like I said earlier, the goal of this podcast is to push forward no matter what life throws at you. Understanding that you are fully capable of paving the way to your success and to a better you. Well, August has just felt like, again, a lack of normalcy. 2021 cannot throw us a break, can it? It truly can be exhausting. The crazy thing is sometimes the exhausting things and lack of normalcy aren't necessarily bad things. They're maybe just a lot, all at once. I tend to spiral when things like that happen. I get real overwhelmed, and I know I'm not alone in that. When I can't seem to get a moment of space and time, I can just feel so out of control. And then it all goes haywire in my brain, and then I'm out for the count. You know, it doesn't take long to get there. My family's been hit with a lot, it seems, lately. Loads of sicknesses. It wasn't just me getting these sinus and ear infections. Like, everyone has been getting them. We're blessed it hasn't been COVID or anything serious, just a lot of sinus infections and allergies. We've had a close family friend also fall ill with a serious health issue, and that has just been heart-wrenching. Everyone, please send good vibes and prayers to her and her family's way. And then to top it off, Hurricane Ida made its way through New Orleans and Louisiana as a whole, where literally all of my family lives. We currently have many of them in town staying at our house, but also have many more who did stay down there in New Orleans and the surrounding areas. As of now, we have been able to gain contact with all of our family members and everyone is safe. The biggest issue has just been the lack of power, which could be out for as long as 21 days, and some minor house issues from what I've heard so far. But some are still waiting to hear how their houses look. So it's been a crazy time, a scary time, and I pray for all of their safety continuing on as we start to recover from this storm, and for the whole state of Louisiana and surrounding areas. With all these things, including COVID still being out and about now with the Delta variant, life can get off track real quick. Luckily, I've been dating the most wonderful man, Eric, for the last 6 months, so that actually has been extremely helpful. Typically, I'm on my own with my emotions and feelings, but now I have this man who helps me deal with them. Sorry, Eric. Sorry, not sorry. But navigating a new relationship within all of this craziness as well can also be stressful, and a lot of things end up falling to the back burner. It can all be so consuming, right? I hope I'm not alone in that. Heck, I know I am not alone in that. Am I? Maybe you're not being hit with the same exact life struggles, but maybe you're dealing with something just as crazy and consuming as me. So what do we do with that? Well, there's nothing else you can do but be patient and move forward. I'm quite possibly the most impatient person/human ever. Trust me when I say I understand the struggle of being patient. But you have to focus your mind in a different area. control what you can control. So let's circle back to something that we can control. Something we've already talked about a little bit today. Something that can truly set us up for success and a positive future. Our health. Why is it that so many times when people hear about health, they automatically think about our physical health? And then all of the other types of health get left behind. We've got to be better than that, and we've got to be better about that. I've put a large part of my health on the back burner for quite some time now. I was young. I could do that once I had to, right? Not right. Okay, no. Not good. Stop it. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. What a token Monopoly reference. You're welcome. But seriously, if you can learn anything from me today, learn this. Your health should always take priority. Make the doctor's appointments. Go to your checkups. Stay within good health and stop making excuses. There's no time like today to get yourself back to a better you. I can't lie, okay? I have been bad about this. Even recently, I've been bad about this. I don't know what the mental block is for me there. It's like I know I'm not where I should be health-wise, so I avoid going. It's like I don't want to be told by someone, hey, you need to get that in check. But I gotta be better. I need to be better. We need to be better. I would be willing to bet that more than half of the people listening to this podcast right now, maybe more, have put something in regard to their health on the back burner. Whether it be physically, like the dentist or your PCP, or maybe it's mentally, like unchecked mental health issues with depression or anxiety. All right, maybe it's one of the others I mentioned earlier, spiritually or environmentally or socially. I urge you to push forward into making a positive change in some area within your health. Make the appointment. Do the research. Choose to put your health first. You won't regret taking your health seriously, I promise. And as usual, if I'm telling you all to do something, trust and believe I full-heartedly will follow through and do so on my own, because it is not fair for me to get over here on my soapbox and say this, but not do it. So yes, I also will be doing so. In fact, oh no, a train is coming by. Yes, I also forgot to mention earlier in my apology about being at Eric's house that he has a train right outside his house. So if you hear the little toot toot in background, that is the train. Oh my goodness, it's so loud. But I do have a microphone, so you may not be able to hear it. Moving on. So back on track. This last month, I made it a priority to not let anything go unchecked in regards to my health. I've made appointments with doctors to check in on my physical health, therapists to do a check-in on my mental health, and I've even made a goal to get back in touch with my spiritual and social sides. Things that have fallen to the back burner while I navigate this crazy world. There can be no excuses when it comes to your health. Trust me, I have made them all. I also didn't have health insurance for a hot minute, okay? And that was my excuse then. But even that is not a good excuse because there are options out there for you. Before I bought health insurance through, oh my gosh, this train. Before I bought health insurance through the Affordable Healthcare Act market, I had been living on the edge, people. Like I would go hiking. Oh my God, I gotta see if you can hear this. Oh my gosh, it's so loud. Okay, apologies. We are back. I literally just paused it out because, my goodness, that was not going to continue for us, all right? There was just like a bunch of honk, 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 and then there was these birds tweeting. And I was like, that will be very annoying for my followers. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, continuing on, getting back to the excuses that we make when it comes to our health and talking about how it's pretty common out there. I'm pretty sure everyone in my life at least, has made some sort of excuse to their health. And sometimes we do that out of fear. Sometimes we do that out of laziness. And sometimes we do that because we just don't want to be told that our health is bad. But we got to stop doing that. Before I bought healthcare insurance through the Affordable Care Act, I had been living on the edge, my people. Legit, I would go hiking like in Nashville back when I lived there, and I'd be looking at this stuff I had to do. I was like, maybe I should sit back. I don't have health insurance. If I fall, just let me go, okay? It's my time. I cannot afford that. And that's not smart, okay? Get health insurance if you don't have it. I do understand it can be expensive, though, and trust me, I have been there. But do not forget that you have to put your health first. I just prayed I wouldn't have a reason to get my health checked out. That's how I was back then. I would just pray that I didn't have to go. But then the unfortunate did end up happening. I got sick with strep throat. Thank you to my little nephews running around. They make it pretty easy to get sick, you know. They go to schools and things that are surrounded by other children who get sick, so it makes me a little bit more vulnerable to illnesses running around. So I ended up dragging myself to the little clinic at Kroger and got my antibiotics and went on my way. I believe in total I spent about $120 total without insurance, and that includes the cost for the antibiotics. It wasn't ideal, but it also wasn't impossible. So as long as something catastrophic doesn't happen, you typically will be okay just going to a clinic or something and paying out of pocket. But I always do recommend you go ahead and get the health insurance. They do have options that are for catastrophic things and pretty much cover nothing, but they're there just in case the bad things happen. Do not fight with fire, people. I'm sharing that story to urge you to find ways to put your health first. Don't wait until you fall ill with a physical or mental illness. Don't wait until you find yourself off the beaten path within your social and spiritual environmental worlds. But if you are listening now and you did wait, or you are waiting, rest assured that you can find your way back. There's no day like today to put you and your health first. Start small. Assess whatever issues you may be handling at the current moment and begin to piece together a solution. For me, I realized my mental health had gone unchecked for far too long. So I did some research and I made an appointment. I also haven't had my blood levels checked out since I was about 16 years old, and I have a blood disorder, so it is pretty important for me to keep an eye on that. So I made an appointment with my hematologist. And I also went ahead and booked everything else, the dentist, PCP, all of it. The next thing I put on my priority list was spiritually. If you know me, you probably know that I do have a good relationship with God. I'd like to make that relationship closer with him, and also the relationship that Eric and I as a couple have with him. I want to make a priority out of praying regularly and strengthening that relationship, because ultimately it is important to me and should be something that I regularly participate in, whether that be through church or just through my relationship while at home. It's really easy to find yourself just kind of trending off of a path, whether it be for social, spiritual, or maybe even just how your environment around you looks. It is so easy to fall off. So don't get down if that's you right now. You can always find your way back. You just got to make the small steps and goals to get back there. And then lastly in my life, but equally important, I did work on my social and environmental health. Maybe you haven't heard of these before. Maybe you've never put this together with your health. You may not think either of these are affecting your health, but trust me, they do. When it comes to the social aspect, we all crave genuine and positive connections with other people. That's what made the pandemic time so hard. These uplifting connections enhance our overall well-being and the need for connectedness. Being able to or feeling comfortable with engaging in regular social activities, whether it be a simple cup of coffee or a night out to dinner and a movie, will keep you fulfilled. in regards to your social health. This ultimately battles those feelings of being isolated or feeling alone in the world. These positive relationships show you that you are not alone. Ever since 2020, I've been pretty antisocial, which is not in my nature at all. I'm a little social butterfly, okay? But after the pandemic, I just always felt overwhelmed and busy, so I never felt like I had time to be social. But I love being social. You see my problem? Today and right now, I am making conscious efforts to reach out to friends and family so we can get back on track, get back to doing regular social activities because we all need this, even if our mind is telling us that you don't want it. And then moving on into the environmental aspect of health, have you ever put together the similarities between your health and your environment? What do I mean by that? I'm talking about things like depression, right? Have you ever noticed that once you finally accept that you are depressed, you look around your room or house and you notice it is tragic? A big old mess. Every single time that I am like, okay, maybe I need to, turn things around. My room is tragic. My office is tragic. Everything is tragic. And it's because when you are depressed or when you are going through something like that, anxious or anxiety and things like that, you will let everything else fall to the background. You don't want to do the dish. You don't want to do any of these things. You can barely get yourself out of bed sometimes. You can't let that go unchecked. Sometimes we're just so overwhelmed we can't be bothered by the mess. Or maybe a toxic environment that you're currently living in affects your overall mood consistently. Well, you got to get a handle on your environment so that you can improve your overall health. Sometimes the solution is simply just leaving that past environment behind, back in the rearview mirror. If it's not serving you anymore and you find yourself needing something new, do it. Unless you're really backed up into some sort of bad, lease thing. Cut the lease, move on, find a way to get out and to kickstart yourself into a revival. Find yourself a new environment and kick the past behind. A new beginning. Maybe it's even simpler, like just cleaning or organizing your house. We all have those junk areas in our houses, don't we? Yes, we do. Or is it just me? No, surely not. We all have a junk drawer, maybe you have a junk room. Regardless, get a handle on those junk spaces. Rid your life of things that weigh you down. Dirty houses, untidy spaces, and cluttered rooms lead to feelings of stress and anxiety, as opposed to organized spaces that can motivate you or help you feel positive and uplifted. In order to improve this in my life, I took it upon myself to clear out my second bedroom that had been cluttered with junk for some time. And I turned it into an office for me and my boyfriend. We had been working at the kitchen table, and this was proving to not be the most efficient of spaces. Snacking for days. After cleaning out the space and moving in the new furniture, I felt a weight lifted off my shoulders. I didn't have to stare at this unsightly mess anymore or just add to it like I was. I could actually get use out of this extra space. So there you have it. It's really not that difficult to make small changes that will ultimately help you in your overall mood. We may not be able to control all the unforeseeable roadblocks that come our way, but remember that you can control your health. Your health, in turn, helps your overall well-being because it all works together. My 20s have come and they have gone. And I can say that they have taught me a lot. Most importantly, as I walk into my future, I'd like to always practice patience. I'd like to remember to not take everything so personally. And lastly, I'd like to always keep my health as a top priority. Because, hey, we're not getting any younger, are we? Thanks for hanging out with me today. And next week, Cali Chats will be back on track with a new episode. And if you're looking to support the Cali Chats podcast in any way, you can head over to the episode bio where you can find listener support. Your support does not go unnoticed, and I appreciate each and every one of you who continues to tune in each week. I will talk to you next week. Love you. Bye. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, rate, review, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or pretty much anywhere you can listen to a podcast. For more from me and Cali Chats, visit www.calicreates.com, or you can check me out on Facebook and Instagram at Cali Creates LLC. Thanks, and talk to you guys later. Bye.